Okay, this is Kal Kat, the Kal Katster, and this is a review of Supergirl, the latest James Gunn era DCEU reboot movie. Yeah, so thoughts on that. The Stone Gremlins people already had a mixed bag on it. One of them liked it, the other two didn't. It looks like the other one, Angry Joe, didn't like it either. But one of them liked it. So there's like a mixed bag. It's like critic rating is mixed. I think a lot of the mixed bag critic rating stuff is Snyder Bros, who don't like the idea of a movie that is subverting their expectations and is making fun of them, or they perceive it is making fun of them, because you have a strong female character who is kicking butt, and also kind of an anti-hero in the story, and so they don't like that. Premise of the story, I'll just skip the previews that were mentioned. They weren't terribly interesting. There was a weird new Pixar adjacent movie, but sort of friendship bracelet, Dreamcatchers. That was mentioned. It wasn't called Dreamcatcher. That's what I thought it was. It wasn't. Yes. Yeah. That's an odd idea. But in this movie, similar theme, you have kind of, it was like, there was that last year there was a Borderlands movie, with very similar elements in some places to this, but only the good elements. Borderlands was not very good. That was the one with the older actress playing a character who was clearly much younger, and trying to lay off that she wasn't. That one didn't work because the casting was wrong. Borderlands. It was also trying very hard to be Guardians of the Galaxy. This one was too. This was not, however, James Gunn. It was one of his friends that did it. Wasn't him. So can't blame him for this one. So we have, we also have adjacent DC people know of. So yeah, but we're not shills. They're not shills. So we can say. They'll say, no, this guy's a shill for DC now. He's no longer at Paramount and Disney. He's at DC. No, I'm not. I'm not at DC. Somebody I know of is at DC now. The Supergirl games, basically. I don't know how well the movie would translate to a video game. I mean, some of it plays as a video game, but I knew from back when they went over there originally, that there was going to be, the Justice League scene that was in the movie. I knew about that. I also knew about Lobo being in this movie. I knew about that. I didn't want to give it away over the Campy Show. The Campy Show reported, Jason Momoa went over there and he's really happy. We think it's Lobo. And I was like, no, it can't be Lobo. No, it can't. It was. Yeah. It was Lobo. We just didn't want you giving it away, Mr. Campy. Yeah. We didn't want you giving it away. However, that Avengers footage that's on your channel, that's fake. That's like unfinished footage, fake stuff that they cobble together with AI. It's not real. It's just it isn't real. But that's a different subject entirely. Let's not go into the AI adjacent, unreal stuff. You have this movie, the Supergirl movie, is so opposite the 80s Supergirl movie as to be completely a different animal entirely. It would have been interesting had they cast the raven-haired Supergirl from The Flash in this movie as her. It really would have fit. But no, they went for the blonde one. There was a TV show. It was all right. It wasn't terrible. It was a TV show a while back. Wasn't terrible. Didn't last long. But yeah, It was all right. DC does its shows a little better than it does its other stuff. Anyway, its movies. Whereas Marvel used to do its movies better than its shows. They've switched it now. Marvel does shows better than the movies. Yeah, so, but, so your basic plot, I'm not sure how the green sun works into it. Yeah. But yeah, so, Kara Zor-El, there's flashbacks in it. She's on this planet where it's a red sun, and because we go on a planet with a red sun, a Kryptonian can get drunk and inebriated. She goes there to get drunk. She's 23. She turned 23. Bad guy poisons a dog, Crypto, and they've got to. So this apparently takes place after the other. If the dog got, it's clearly there in the Superman movie, so clearly this is after that. So. And then they reference the other movie. So, yeah, the dog's already there, so I don't know that happened. Anyway, yeah, it doesn't really, it's kind of Elseworldy kind of thing. She's after this bad guy, Cratter or something. It's from the comic books. So it is from the book, it's from Woman of Tomorrow. It's that. But I have not read it. I've only seen synopsis reports on it, and it takes place over weeks. Some of the complaints were this takes place over days, but as Mark's Cards pointed out in a discussion just now, you have to make a movie out of it. You can't take place over weeks. It's not going to work. It's going to be a few days. That makes more sense. So he's not at DC. It's just like Scott. So here we have this. So she's on this red sun planet. There's bad guys who try to come after her. One of the bad guys, Kretar, poisons the dog with a dart thing. They have 3 days to go off into space somehow. It doesn't matter that they have hyperspace and don't explain it. They just don't. And they're able to traverse hyperspace to other planets. Other stars even. They can turn their engines on and go, and they're just there. They don't worry about that. They just do it. We have a scene and a flashback where Kretar, I'm probably getting that name wrong, where he has killed the parents of this one. So he has killed the sidekick girl's parents, and the sidekick girl wants revenge. And totally blanking on her name. The names are kind of forgettable, but there are some interesting aliens and alien things going on. And yeah, it is similar to the Western True Grit, which has been remade at least once. I can recall I remade that a couple times. It's similar to that. Similar pacing. They just took the True Grit and made this one. They have the wizened older character and the younger sidekick wants revenge. There's also Unforgiven. There's been a number of movies that have been about that. So it's not just True Grit. It's a cowboy western thing. And I would say that parts of it are less Mad Max and more what is doing. There's a little Mad Max, yes, but only because they're weird looking mad vehicles. I would say it's more like Running Man and some of those other movies. More like Death Race than Mad Max. More like just apocalyptic Death Race kind of thing. Than Mad Max. I mean, there's a little elements of that here and there, but I would say they're doing it. It's a Western, but with tech. They have. So they go to this planet. They got to go to this planet in the movie. Spoilers, I guess. And they have to go to this other planet to find a cure for the dog. They get on a space bus, essentially a space bus. Yes, the critics saying, it's a train robbery, but it wasn't in another movie. Stagecoach robbery, train robbery. So it's more of a space bus. But let's say it's a train, fine, space train. But it's not a train, it's a spaceship. It's not really a bus. I would say it's more of a space bus. And they're on the space bus. And a big battle, fight. And they go to this other star system where the yellow sun isn't up yet. And there's a fight in orbit, and the bad guys are messing with them. And then the sun comes up, and she's got to fight the bad guys. Okay. And get over her inebriation from contact with the yellow sun. Now, the red sun's supposed to make the Superman as weak as a human or something and make them able to acceptable. But you would think that if it was something to do with the infrared energy and the X-rays and stuff from a star, that the red star would actually give off more flares and more energy in the infrared, and then a yellow one would. And you'd figure that, well, there aren't no such thing as a green star. They meant to make the green star blue. That would have made sense. A green star. Well, technically, there is a spectrum. If you look at a yellow star, it's green. So, it's showing off the green spectrum. It's why yellow to our eyes. But yeah, a green star, you don't often see that. The spectra is, what they mean is blue. It's not green, it's blue. And also, you would think that it would be multiplications of its power source. So that, like, the red sun makes her normal because Krypton's sun was red. And it has something to do with the wavelength and the radiation and the ultraviolet and the other rays from the star. And as they get more energetic ultraviolet rays, it makes her stronger. So you'd think that a blue sun or a green sun wouldn't almost kill her as it does in the movie. When she's trapped on the planet in the prison thing. It would make her a god, basically. She would be more powerful. She would be invincible. She'd be able to crush through the core of a planet because it would speed everything up. It wouldn't make her tired. It would speed everything up. But that's not how it works, apparently. But yeah, I think Neil deGrasse Tyson once analyzed that Superman star thing. It was like, yeah, that doesn't make sense. A hot young blue star would, A-type star would mess with them. Or make her like a second level being, a third, yeah, on the Kardashev scale. She'd just be able to crush through the universe and be like a celestial from Marvel. but yeah, so that didn't happen here. So there was a bus chase and there was a prison chase. They go to a planet of the basically Totemus aliens, misogynistic Totemus aliens from Canary Space. But we didn't steal that from the comic book. We thought of that ourselves as a to riff on misogynistic men. And there was a planet of all the dudes who had wiped out their women, and they had to get new women in the story. And in our version, the women warriors eventually come back and they beat the men, of course, because they're heroic. So there's kind of this theme in here and in there. And yeah, but we decided not to include the Totemus in Canary Space. The bad guy wiped them out off camera. The bad guy wiped them out off camera. That's not what they are in this movie. It just reminded me of them, or the Morlocks from Orville. But it wasn't them. I'm just reminded of the Totemus because they were all male-oriented and sort of the antithesis of the Themyscira, Lesbos, Wonder Woman people. That's all. There was the antithesis of that. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, and they get their butts kicked by the women. The women kick the bad guys' butts. So anyway, yeah, so yeah, I was also pointing out in my commentary, but only commenting on it because Mark Scarz hadn't seen it yet, that she basically has a body count, like several people she just literally kills before saying like, oh, she frequently says don't to the sidekick, don't want revenge, you'll be ruined for it, you'll be, your soul will be damaged or whatever. And it's like, that's weird dialogue because then she immediately goes and jacks up like 50 bad guys, probably killing several of them. especially when they like knock down like spaceships out of the air and flying tanks and ships and things. People in those tanks and ships just got blown up. They're gone. So like Kara kills hundreds of people. She's not a good guy. She's more villainous than the bad guy. She's got a body count of like hundreds of people. But yeah, she's the villain, as it turns out. She's the anti-hero. I think those Zack Snyder people would find that funny. It's like, oh yeah, that actually works. But no, it's the antithesis of that. They don't like it that it's a woman that's doing all that. Yeah. Even though they had Wonder Woman in their series, but she had to have a man. Even though it was a male female writer, she still we had to have her boyfriend back in the second one. And this DCEU movie is like, she didn't need her boyfriend back to wish him back. Why would she want a man at all? Doesn't make any sense. Anyway, I'm not going to obsess over the Wonder Woman movie because Carol does not have a man in this one at all. She goes after the weird Kratos guy. Kratos, I think is his name. The dots all over his face. I think that's Kratos. Yeah, I think that's who that is. Yeah, I think it's Kratos. I'm remembering some of the names. That's who that is. That's right. Yeah, Kratos. That's who that guy is. Yeah. I kind of remember some of that stuff from way back in the day. It's been forever. Those comics back in the day. But yeah, Man of Tomorrow and Woman of Tomorrow. And Superman was basically a riff on Superman Legacy, the comic book, and Man of Tomorrow. A little bit of Man of Tomorrow's the next one. Yeah, they're going to do that. Sort of an adaptation. And if you adapt a comic book, it's going to change. Like Transformer stories where I adapted a short novella into a story where I changed some characters' motivations completely. And now I'm saying, it's a conundrum. The motivations are different. I would say that this, but this is not like that. This is, it's basically a Western in space with them going out and trying to get Kratos, bring him back. And Lobo is there. There's bar fight scenes out in the trailers. Bus scene that's in the trailer. Some of the others, flying over the star before the sun comes up, that's in the trailer. The other scene with the outfit, that's in the last third movie. The trailer kind of gives away too much. But Jason Momoa was meant to play Lobo. I mean, come on. Just for that entertainment value alone, it's like, all right, he's meant to play that. Even back in the day, even when he was like Aquaman, even back in the day we were saying that. Shouldn't this guy be playing Lobo? It would make more sense. So, yeah. He doesn't look like Aquaman, but Lobo, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, sure. But yes, and ultimately, if she's the more 90s version of Supergirl now in the 2020s. So she's the 90s one. So that's perfectly fine. Sure. I like that she basically, I think that's another thing that Snyder Bros. Were annoyed about. She is basically playing Cavill's Superman as Supergirl in this movie. She's the dark, brooding Superman that God powers, the burden, she's doing that. So if you take it that way, it's like, oh, they're spoofing the Snyder Bros. Making fun of him. They're riffing on him. All right, yeah, yeah. They go to the prison planet with the misogynistic men. They're trapped. The girl's trapped in the prison. She and Lobo are escaped, and they go out. They're going to fight the guy on top of the ship, which is kind of similar to in Rebel Moon 1 and 2. But I think only because Rebel Moon guy Snyder probably is borrowing from the same westerns that did something like that. Yeah, True Grit. There was a scene in the field, and a scene on a rooftop, and a scene. Yeah, so it's a western. Sure. I think it was a train heist in True Grit, though. It wasn't a stagecoach. At least in the remake. But yeah, um, but sure, the dog poison thing. Yeah, that just ignore the passage of time as being 72 Earth hours, even though they're on other stars and planets, and just ignore that. And said it doesn't really fit in the timeline with the other Superman movie. Ignore that. Uh, so you've got like yeah, yeah, this one was being made right after the other ones, I think around the same time. The visuals, all that. The yeah, um, yeah. So there's yeah, there's some odd dialogue. Yes, there was something slightly annoying in the movie, but this wasn't the movie's fault. The the images on the screen. This isn't the first time this has happened. The movie is just slightly blurry. Good thing I was up close to the screen. It's just slightly blurry. It wasn't a 3D conversion thing or anything. It was slightly blurry. Um, yeah. So, but it was fine. Uh, it was slightly in parts. It was slightly blurry in parts. And I can see how some of the detractors could be detracting to some of it is muddy and dark looking, especially the parts where they want to do like a 3D gag. Because apparently they also made it up converted for 3D, and there's 3D gag. It's going back and forth, and it's like, something screwy about this movie. Yeah, it but yes, 3D gag. Some of the line of sight is screwed up. No, it's digital cameras. They're using the digital. You could tell they used that digital amorphic screen thing from the DC one, similar to the Marvel one. They used the Lucasfilm one. They used that. They went over to Lucasfilm and used it, or they used one very similar because LucasArts did do the special effects for this, even though it's DC. It said ILM, Industrial Light and Magic, helped with this. I think they helped with everything, and they had one of those big screens, so they used it for some of the fight sequences, and you can kind of tell they're a little muddied and jarring, and the fight's going on around her, and they do the camera swoosh around, like they did in Superman Legacy. Yeah, some of that's a little off, and they needed to polish that a little more. A little off. However, I wasn't pulled out of the picture like some of the critics were. Like, no, this really pulls me out of it. The battles. And she's fighting this guy over here and over there, and I wasn't pulled out that much. I was okay with it, and so yeah, we have, yeah, it's just yeah, yeah. It goes into his adventure. You gotta like get the revenge and all that. I won't give away the ending. Kratos and the other guy. I won't give away that. Give away whether they save everybody in the end. Well, obviously they did because the Superman movie happened. So you knew the dog was going to be fine at the end. You knew that. They're not going to kill the dog. They're not going to do the John Wick thing. Somebody was implying that too. No, they're not going to do that. They're not going to go that far. But yeah. So I'm kind of rambling on because I don't want to give it all away. So yeah, I think the 80s one was more fun. It was nonsensical and weird. But I think this one, as for a DCEU movie, is more fun than most of the Snyder ones. It mocks them somewhat. I would compare it to the fun parts of The Flash. There were some fun parts in that movie. And I would compare it to the fun parts in Aquaman 1. Because it had maybe more in it. So yeah, so it's comparable to Aquaman 1 and the fun parts. So I'd say, yeah, it's a decent DC superhero movie in that genre where they're using those elements and using them accordingly. I mean, it's not 4 stars, certainly. I can't give it that. It was fine. There wasn't very many people in the audience. I'd like for this movie to make $400 million on its opening weekend. But we'll see. Because that would mean that James Gunn would stay with after the merger of Paramount and Warner Brothers. I think he's going to stay anyway because the last movie made $600 million, so a little over that. So he's going to stay. They shouldn't worry. Unless some other studio makes him a better offer. They can't leave now. He's got a studio. They won't. The administration that brought out Paramount and Skydance isn't going to be there forever. In that the other administration that's pulling the strings, they're not going to be there forever. So they're gone. They no longer will have any sway. The cult, the other administration, will no longer have any sway over whatever the studio is doing. So that and it would end, and they can do whatever they want after that. And they can even hire on the cast again from here. No, they won't. But no, they're not going to hire me. They just aren't. So yeah, Supergirl. Yeah, I mean it's. Yeah, she does kind of. Yeah, she's kind of the bad guy. Yeah, if you treat it as it's the story of the bad guy. But she kicks butt, so it's fine. So, yeah. I'm gonna say that I liked it. Yeah, I'm gonna say that I liked it. If it was I like to score it with stars. So a little over three stars, three and a half stars. Not four, three stars. It's a little better than 3 stars. It's better than an average. It's not. It's very good. Yeah. I think it's very good. Like the He-Man movie was very good. It wasn't the best ever. It was very good. These movies have been very good. No, not great. Not great. Very good. There are flaws. It doesn't pull you out of it though. The theme runs through the whole thing. Yeah, the dialogue is a little postmodern and 20s era dialogue, 2020s era dialogue. But, it's not as embarrassing as Borderlands, which this reminds me of. It's like a better version of Borderlands. It's got the same idea. You got and Borderlands was also ripping off True Grit. And in that one, that's why they made the lady older. But really, the video game, in the case of Borderlands, was not. It was more like a buddies the same age, kind of going on a quest story. Slightly older guy and slightly younger guy, girl in that case, going on a quest. Similar in Borderlands was similar in many ways to Uncharted, where they also miscast the Hollywood version and made the two leads in that the wrong age. They should have been closer in age in that one. But yeah, so it's fine. It's fine. it's super. See it in theaters, and don't recommend the 3D one. Go to the 2D one. And so so there. And next will be the next Jackass movie. But not this week. I'm gonna wait on that one. So anyway, later.